So my apologies for my main camera and my laptop not working. I was trying to clean up some space on my computer, and I think I cleaned out a little bit too much along with the camera app. So I have to reinstall it after we're finished, but this should do. Okay, so let us begin at the beginning with Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. We're thankful to Allah that we have another opportunity to be with each other. And what is today's date?
November the 9th.
Okay. All right, very good. So we're on Wednesday, November 9th, 2022. And I'm here with my friend Mahdi for session number 11. So to those who are looking at it in YouTube land, I am Instructor Benjamin Bilal, and this is a junior learner, Mahdi. This is his 11th session. He's been doing very well thus far. And I think those of you who have been following the series of his learning experience know that very well. So we're going to jump right into what we have to do. I think we missed last Wednesday. I wasn't available, so we're playing catch up now. So let me go back and fish my notes back to the screen. And we left off speaking on the letter ta. So therefore, we're going to continue in today's lesson with the next letter, which is tha. Before we do that, however, I think we have a little homework business to get out of the way, if I'm remembering correctly. So let's do that also. There we go. You ready to read?
Yep.
All right, let's get started.
What did I do for my mom and dad? I helped my mom load the gasoline tanks with gas. I helped my mom unload the gas tanks out of the truck. I parked the utility vehicle in the pole barn. What did I do for Mahdi? I can entertain myself. I can do work without being asked. I spell and know a lot of words.
That's excellent. That's excellent. So I only have one question for you, Mahdi. When did you get your driver's license?
Not yet.
All right. You parked the utility vehicle. You know how many little boys are going to be jealous of you?
Well, it depends on how little they are.
Well, this is true. Can you compare it to something size-wise?
Oh yeah, I can compare.
To what?
I can't compare, but this is big. But the Amish people here, some of their little boys, 8, 9, 10, and
Mhm.
up, they can handle a horse and buggy by themselves.
My goodness. Wow. I'd love to have a chance to visit some Amish country. I've been reading about them most of my life, and I've always been impressed by their sense of community and do for self, as some would call it. They're excellent at that. All right. Okay, so that's the first homework. There's another homework, and it got away from me. Let me see if I can find it. All right, so we'll forfeit that for today.
It's not very hard driving the utility vehicle.
It's not. Tell me what the steps are. You get into the vehicle, obviously, right?
You get into the vehicle, you put the key in,
Yeah.
you turn it on.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, you take off the brake. Whenever you're switching gears from neutral, you gotta hold the brake, and then you gotta take the thing. There's a thing. You gotta take the shift,
Yeah.
the stick shift.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta take it. Yeah, you gotta pull this thing up. It's like a little thing that you take up with your fingers. You
Like,
gotta pull it up.
yeah.
You pull it up, and then you shift it to reverse or neutral, and then you release the brake, and then you go. It's not that hard.
Okay. And the steering is not difficult?
No, not exactly.
All right. Yeah. You should have your mom and dad take a video of you one day doing that so I can see
I
them.
drove on the road.
You drove on the road. I have to see this. I'm going to have to
The
visit
main
y'all.
road.
Say it again.
The main road.
On the main road?
Yeah.
with real cars, real live cars and drivers.
Yes.
I'm impressed. I am impressed. All right.
It was slow though, due to the utility vehicle is a bit not too bulky. It's just it's it's like a car, but like with some of the stuff taken off. So it's like a smaller car, just
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
and
utility. Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it's
I
pretty
get
slow. Reason why it's not meant to go that fast.
it.
If it
Exactly.
goes fast and goes on a turn, this thing will flip over real good.
Yeah. Yeah. Too much speed.
This thing is quite tall too.
Is it? How tall compared to you? How tall are you?
Uh, I don't know, a five something.
Okay. And the utility vehicle is taller than you?
Taller than me.
Ah, okay. I'm beginning to get a good picture. So what you do is, speaking of picture, next time you're there and you have a camera in your phone, just take a picture of it and send it to me so I can see what it looks like.
Utility vehicle?
Yeah, take a picture of it with your phone
Okay.
when you get a chance and send it with your next homework. Matter of fact, let's make that a part of your homework. Send Instructor Bilal a picture of the utility vehicle. Okay.
Okay.
All right. I know it's not academic, but I just want to show it off. All right.
Okay.
All right. Let's get into it. Give us this letter.
Fat.
All right. And you're going to do most of the reading. And if you have any question along the way, you know what to do. Just ask. Do you remember what that is before we get to the meaning?
Yeah. Ungroomed hair.
Say it again. Say it slowly.
Ungroomed hair.
Exactly. All right. Oops, 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 oops. It's the other thing I forgot. I do have it in my mouse. Okay. All right, I'm moving a little slow today. You got to forgive me. But I was not rearranging, but we're building actually a top-notch professional podcasting studio in one of the rooms in our home. So I've been doing a lot of rearranging and all of the rest of that stuff. You'll get a chance to see it probably next week. We'll be broadcasting from the live podcast studio. Okay. So if things look different in the background, that's the reason for it. And if I seem a little discombobulated, that's the other reason for it, because I've been all over the place trying to get everything done at one time. I'm a multitasker, but it doesn't always work out. But we're going to make it work with the help of Allah. Okay, go right ahead and start reading.
Sa is also hair, but which is loose, unmanaged, and multiplied. Our Creator created human hair to grow wild and free. If we do not cut it or manage it, it will remain that way. As long as we keep it it is kept clean. There's nothing wrong with that look. But the look is what the represents. Some men let their beards grow this way. I saw the picture already, but
Yeah, well, we want the audience to see it. All right. So there's nothing wrong with that being basically unmanaged and multiplied hair on the face. It can be on the head. Some people have very thick eyebrows, very thick mustaches. So we can't look at those people and say, "Ooh, they're dirty." No, they're not necessarily dirty. If you look at people from Jamaica and some islands like that, they grow their hair in what are called locks. And right here in the United States, they have many places where men and women can go to get that length of hair and that thickness of hair braided and groomed and looking nice. So when I was a boy about your age, if I had saw somebody or seen somebody with hair just kind of growing all wild like that, I would have just normally assumed that they were a bum. That's how we thought when we were children. Everybody that didn't have a nicely cut afro or whatever, or if they had something other than that and they're from some other place, they must be a bum, because when we would look on the park benches, we would see men that were laying on the benches that had long, scraggly, unkempt hair. And we would confuse that with people who had long hair, braided hair, twisted hair, they would call it, and sometimes even matted hair that is actually matted together, but they wash it, they keep it clean, they shampoo it, they put a little grease or whatever in their hair, grease or whatever, and they're good to go. So we don't want to make the mistake of lumping everybody in the same category. Now, it says here that tha is also hair. Now, what was the first letter that we mentioned that had to do with hair also?
Ta.
Ta. That's right. And what's the difference between ta hair and tha hair?
Ta hair is groomed hair.
That's correct. That's right. Okay, great. All right, so now those who might be listening to this for the first time and you're not understanding what it is we're saying or where it is we're going, simply scroll back on YouTube to where we're dealing with the letter ta. All right, I believe I'm mentioning all of the letters that we're teaching on as a part of the YouTube title. So just go back into Mahdi's history and Imam Benjamin Bilal's history, and you'll see exactly what it is we're talking about so that we don't have to go backwards and waste time. Okay, so thank you for that, Mahdi. Let's move forward.
Some people let their lawns grow this way.
Okay, so it's the same thing with the lawn. If you look at this lawn, people would normally say, where's that? The jungle, and they think of the jungle as being something savage and uncivilized, but not necessarily. If you let your front lawn or your back lawn, if you just leave it alone, that's what's going to happen. It's going to look just like that. But again, it doesn't mean that the people living in that house are uncivilized, does it?
No.
Okay. Now, the neighborhood feels better. The neighbors feel better if you come out every now and then and mow it down and cut it so that it looks nice. And, but, that's an idea that humans brought into the world. Nature brings this idea. Just let it grow. And it'll grow so much and so often that you become disturbed by it. When you come out your house and you can't even see what's happening on the sidewalk in front of you, then your common sense kind of tells you, well, I better do something about, it's just like if your hair gets too much and it becomes unmanageable, then your common sense says, maybe I should shave a little off, or cut a little bit down, so that it doesn't bother me, maybe even bother the people who have to look at me every day. All right. But that's a matter of personal taste. Okay. So that's the unkempt lawn we're looking at there in front of a very nice house. Continue.
These are personal choices. To each his own. Just don't let your hair or lawn get so far away from you that you can't tell whether or not there's something creeping around in it. This baby is obviously disturbed by this dirty man's hair.
By this dirty man's dirty hair. See, so that's the difference. His hair is long and matted and twisted and going every which way, but he's not really taking care of it. All right. So the baby is showing a kind of, we know the baby's not there looking at him, but that's just a little joke I wanted to put in there. Like there's a baby there looking, saying, what's wrong with your hair? Can't you see my hair? My hair is in place. What's wrong with your hair, mister? That might be what the baby.
Because she don't have all of her hair.
This is true. Yeah. So she really has nothing to compare it to, right? Well, maybe her mother's hair. I don't know. But in any case, to each his own. Let's continue. Go for it.
Our Creator lets the jungle grow this way also, but you might not want to live there because you can't always tell what's creeping around in there either.
This is true. So there are people like in the Amazon and these other places where they have these jungles that are nothing but wild growth, vegetation, but they're full of animals that you might not be able to see because of the overgrowth of vegetation. And now you're in their territory, right? So different creatures live in these environments as Allah created these environments. And very often humans go into these environments and begin thinking that the human is supposed to own everything that he sees, right? So he begins to take over even the jungle because he wants to, um, dig up the dirt and start building homes. And all of that is fine. That's how we get to live in the nice places that we live in. But we still have to consider that animals have rights also. Do you agree with that?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So we can't just go and just keep disturbing all of these animals. They have families also.
Some of them might get mad. They won't like you very much. They might think of you as food after a while.
You got that right. And they might plot against you. Who knows? All right.
Ooh, why is he so puny?
Hmm?
This guy right here, he's like, why is that guy so puny? Maybe I can kill him.
Hold on. Let me see if I can. You're talking about this picture here of the tiger?
Yeah,
And you're
he's in
saying,
a human. He's like, maybe you can kill him. He's much smaller than me.
oh, yeah, how about that, right? How about that? But if that tiger were to stand on his feet, it'd be a different story. Because tigers can be very tall, as you probably know, and fast, much faster than us.
They're the
Yeah.
heaviest cats in the world.
Are they?
Yes,
Okay. Wow. Let's go on to the next letter. What is it?
JEEM.
Yeah. Okay. Go for it.
JEEM is the legs and feet, especially when moving toward water. The letter JEEM is also related to the words gym.
All right. So Jim is an Arabic letter, but Jim is from what language?
Why do you say to the words? There's only one word.
Oh, you see the dot, dot, dot?
Yeah.
That means
Uh,
something else is coming. Okay. It's not in
mhm.
the frame here, but you'll see it in a minute. All right. Good question. Oh, that's very observant of you. All right. There you go.
And jam.
All right.
Does
So,
it sound familiar to you? When we get tired from running around the gym, to where we go get us a drink of water, and then your older students get tired of their dancing, of their silly dances on the dance floor and neighborhood dance. They are ready for a drink also. Let's pray that it's only water.
uh, what do you think I mean by that? What else would they be drinking that they have no business drinking?
Alcohol?
Yeah. 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 If you're at the neighborhood gym and there's a jam going on at the gym, and there are no, parents around, and these are teenagers, and they're dancing and getting all sweaty and all of that, and then they're tired at the end of it, and they feel like they need some liquid or something to help cool them off. They should go get some water, not alcohol, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's what the jim letter does. The J letter in Arabic, jim. It means going by foot, by legs and feet to a water source. Now, all of this might not make sense to some people right now, but when we finish with this particular set of Arabic letters, we're going to start putting words from the Quran with these letters so that you can see exactly how they operate in the alphabet as actual words and meanings, Quran meanings, words straight from the Quran that carry these letters. So pay careful attention, talking to the audience. All right. So this is where you want to go, to the water fountain. You want your legs and feet to take you to the water fountain. You do not want your legs and feet to take you to the alcohol. They had a very popular song a couple of years ago called Blame It on the Alcohol. See? And it was about somebody who was acting so stupid after he took a couple of drinks that he's saying, well, you can't really blame me. It wasn't my fault. Blame it on the bottle, which is ridiculous. All right. So the water is thumbs up, green. Green means go ahead. And the alcohol is thumbs down. Don't do it. Stay away from it. Okay?
Mhm.
All right. Now the next letter, go for it.
Ha. Heavy.
I like the way you pronounce that.
What is that cup you drink from? It's very long.
Yeah, it is. It's a copper flask, they call it. And I use it for two reasons. Number one, when you put fluids in flasks, I hope I pronounced that correctly, flasks. When you put fluid in flasks, the copper serves to neutralize anything negative that might be in it, you know, germs, bacteria, that kind of stuff that might get into your cup. The copper is a very good metal for offsetting any harm that might cause. So that's the first thing. The second thing is that a copper flask holds heat. It holds both heat and coolness. So if I have a hot drink in here, it'll stay hotter much longer than it would in your average cup. And if I have a cool drink in here, especially if I put the top on it, it'll stay cool. If I put some ice in there, the ice, it'll take a long time for that ice to melt. Okay. So most people who talk about what's good and what's not so good, they'll tell you that copper is probably the best kind of cup. And you can find them smaller than this, but it's the best cup for preserving what they call the integrity of the drink, the way the drink was intended to benefit you. It'll keep the benefit in that cup, and it won't just be all out here in the air, or something from the air won't just settle down in it and mix in with it and cause some possible harm. Any other questions about that?
No.
About my cup? No? Okay. What letter would my cup be? And I just gave you a hint. Out of all the
What?
letters you learn, what letter would my cup be in that I can fill it, empty it, and refill it over and over again?
Ba.
That's right. And the longer word is?
Bait.
There you go. All right. Give me another example of something that fills up, empties, and then refills.
Your belly and the house.
Exactly. All right. And the word for house again in Arabic?
Ba. Bait.
There you go. Coming along. All right. So let's talk about this heavy ha. And the only reason we're saying heavy ha, and you pronounced it perfectly, is because we're going to come across another letter ha, which is the light ha, like you have in your name, Mahdi. Okay?
It's actually the light hand.
Yes. All right. If it were the heavy ha in your name, how would you pronounce your name?
Mahdi.
That's right. And because it's the light one, how do you pronounce your name?
Mahdi.
There you go. Major difference. Now, what is this woman doing with her baby over here on the left?
Cuddling it with her arms, hugging it.
Yes. You add anything else to that? What do you think she might be saying to the baby? Give me a script. Give me what she might be saying. If you were a script writer, what would you have her saying to the baby while she's cuddling and holding the baby?
I wouldn't have her say anything, to be honest.
Let's just say she had to say something. What would you have her say?
Um, like, oh, my sweet child, are you okay? And that kind of stuff.
Okay, that's nice. Good. You should look into script writing there, man. You might have a major movie on your hands. We'll call it the cuddling, the movie produced by Mahdi, the cuddling, right?
So is it just gonna be like just like 1.5 hours, just these two people and the baby just cuddling all day long?
Yeah, and there's some people who pay money to go see that because they don't get any cuddling. All right. So do you think she's also keeping this baby warm? Or maybe this baby
Yes, she
just
is.
got out of the bath or something and she's cuddling. She's about to dry the baby off, or she just dried the baby off and she's about to put some night clothes on the baby. There's a whole lot of scenes that you can develop from this picture, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. All right. Now, what do we have operating over here on the right?
The womb.
Okay. Can you tell me anything about that?
There's a wall around it, like the arms of her, keeping it warm and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm. And can you see how it pretty much resembles the indentation of the letter H? With this
Yeah.
being the belly part, right? Yeah, you can kind of just squeeze those together and it'll fit right in there, snug. Okay. Now let's see why. Go for it.
Ha. H is the arms, with embracing, surrounding, and protecting. Oh yeah. Our first loving and protecting embrace was while they were inside the bellies of our mothers. The Creator designed mom's belly to protect us and nurture us with nutrients. There goes that word again. This, this happened while we were embryos and fetuses, until we were delivered into the world as infants. After we were born, we were embraced by our family.
Okay. All right. So what was the first embrace and where was it?
In the belly.
While we were what two words?
Fetuses and embryos.
Which comes first? Do you know?
Embryo.
Yeah. And then the embryo develops into a fetus. All right. So we were being hugged before our mothers even saw us for the first time. Her belly was embracing us. Her belly was keeping us warm while we were inside. Her belly was what allowed for us to be fed through her cord. Do you know what that cord is called? That's connected to the
Next to the
baby.
belly button.
Yeah, we say belly button, but there's another word for it.
Give me a hint. Just a little hint. Like the
It-
first word, the first,
I'll give you the first two letters, okay?
okay.
U-M.
Embryonic?
No, but that's a good guess. That's a good guess. U-M, and then start thinking about my last name. Bilal.
Bilal. I don't think I know it.
All right.
I might know, but
Umbilical.
oh yeah, I didn't know that.
Okay, pronounce it. Umbilical cord.
Umbilical cord.
There you go. All right. It's interesting though that you mentioned the word embryotic, which also begins with EM, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now we're talking about the umbilical cord, which begins with UM. And then if we go into Arabic, what's the word for mom or mother?
Ha.
No, the word for mother in Arabic.
Oh, glue. Meme.
No. In Arabic, the word. The father is Abu, the mother is,
A B.
no, that's father. That's my father. Mother is
Oh yeah,
Ummi, right? My mother,
Umi,
U-M-M.
Abu. Abu,
Yes,
Ami.
that's right. So when we get to the Quran, we're going to show you where these words are in the Quran and explain how they're used in the Quran so that it'll be quicker and easier for you to remember. It's not a problem. Okay. All right. So once we're delivered into the world, then we become embraced by our mother.
Family.
Yeah, the family, beginning with the mother. She's really the first one to hold the baby. If nothing is wrong with the baby and the doctor doesn't have to take the baby away on some emergency, all is well, then the doctor delivers the baby, or sometimes the mother, and a birthing in a birthing room with just nurses, wet nurses, not wet nurses, wrong word, nurses that I forget the names of these nurses, but everybody's not born in a hospital is the point. Were you born in a hospital? Or were you born at home or do you know?
Hospital.
Yeah. All right. So we have a granddaughter pardon me, a grandson who was born about 6 months or so ago. And he was born in a hospital, but a lot of hospitals now, they have smaller rooms so that it could almost feel like you're being born at home, like the mother is delivering at home.
Mm-hmm.
And doctors are there only if there's a need for them. You know, if something starts to go wrong a little bit, then the doctors will be, you know, all you have to do is pick up the phone or pick up the whatever and call the doctors, and they'll come running in to make sure that the emergency doesn't get worse. But other than that, most people don't really need a doctor to be born, because Allah is, he puts everything in place to make that happen almost on his own. And do you know that in history, a lot of babies outside of the West, meaning outside of America and Europe especially, but even in Europe, it used to happen like that, where women would just, they would squat. This happens a lot in different parts of Africa. They would just squat, and gravity would help the baby just come out naturally. And there'll be somebody there to help the baby so the baby doesn't hit the ground. But in the West, women have babies with their legs kind of up in the air, and it kind of works against the gravity. I don't know why they still do that, but in a lot of these modern birthing centers that we're talking about, where it's more natural, and they have midwives, that's what they call, not wet nurses, midwives, and the midwives assist. And sometimes the woman will even be sitting in a bathtub and the baby's born right into the water. You ever see that? You ever
Oh
see
yeah.
that? You have? Yeah, yeah. Sometimes the baby's born because the baby's coming out of water, a water sac inside the belly. And then he or she is born right into the water, which is what they're used to. And they start swimming right away. They're like little fish. It's a beautiful thing to see. All right. So the world, the environment begins to embrace them as soon as they're born. The doctor might take them, the nurse might take them, but eventually the mother gets them, and she begins to embrace. And then when she takes the baby home, of course, dad is there. He's going to embrace the baby. The siblings, if there are any, they're going to begin embracing the baby. Okay. So this embracing thing is it's a big thing. It's a big thing. And I'm going to show you words in the Quran that begin with this ha, this heavy ha, that represents that level of embrace. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go. You ready for some more?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Our mothers did a lot of heavy breathing when they gave birth to us. And that is the other meaning for heavy letter ha. It represents our lungs expanding with air and then contracting. Our lungs have been designed by a wonderfully merciful benefactor. Our lungs surround and embrace our chest while protecting our whole body, providing it with fresh body every minute of the day.
With fresh what?
Oxygen.
There you go. Every minute of the day. So you can see from this x-ray picture here on the right that the lungs are breathing in and out. And as it breathes in and out, it expands and contracts. Which one means to get bigger?
Expand.
Okay. And therefore contract means to become lesser, right?
Mhm.
Okay. And everything living in this creation that you can think of has to have a process through which it expands and contracts. Did you know that?
Yeah. Oh, wait, what?
Everything living, take yourself for an example. If you're going to continue living, something in you has to expand and contract.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Well, we named one of them already right here. What is it?
Lungs.
Yeah, but there's a heart in here also, right?
Yeah, heart.
And what does it do?
Pump blood
Mhm.
every minute of the day and night
That's
and until we die.
right. And it beats. So every time it beats, it expands and it
and
contracts.
contract.
You ever take a good look at the pupil in your eye?
Yeah, contracts. It contracts when there's light. Expands when there's less light.
There you go. There you go. Your
Like
nostrils, when you breathe in, your nostrils, if you breathe in hard enough, your nostrils will actually close, kind of close in, you know, like, I don't know if people could see that, but, and then when you breathe out, so everything has this expansion and contraction component built into it. Can you think of anything else?
with cats, instead of contracting, well, they do contract
Yes, they do. In the
with their
exact same
claws.
way. Mm-hmm. And they say that they
Contract.
can see better in the dark. So they got those big old wide pupils. And I think they even have an extra iris or something attached to their eyes. It looks like contact lenses. If you look into the eyes of cats, looks like they
When you
bring
put
contact.
light in it, it glows.
Yeah, beautiful. All right. So all of these functions are designed by Allah, who is the merciful benefactor. He's the one providing all of the benefits that most people don't even know they have. Most people don't think about their lungs breathing in and out. See, most people don't think about their pupils dilating or expanding. Most people don't think about the fact that every time they eat something, the tongue produces saliva and begins to break that food down as soon as it touches the tongue. A matter of fact, as soon as you look at food, if you're hungry, the juices in your saliva begin to produce the enzymes that are necessary for breaking that food down.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't even have to have the food in your mouth. You can just be looking at it and say, oh man, steak and potatoes, you know, whatever, you know, and the tongue will automatically start salivating. Hmm?
You could look at a sour candy, and your mouth will start to more than water. You feel like a little sting in your mouth.
Yeah, yeah. It's all from here. It's all happening because of how Allah created the brain to perceive things. All right, let's continue. Now, here's the part related to the breath. Okay. So, as the woman breathes in, the baby is also receiving oxygen. And as she breathes out, all of the toxins that might be in her body are being breathed out through her mouth and through her nose so that none of that toxicity, that poison stuff, reaches the baby's blood or the baby's bloodstream. That's a beautiful thing. Okay. Everything that's happening to this baby is happening through that umbilical cord. The baby is eating through the
Drinking.
umbilical cord, drinking, right. Okay. So the mother can't, you know, put a spoon down her throat and say, here, it's feeding time, you know, like we do with fish. Just drop the worm into the water. No, that's not how pregnant women feed their babies. And I know you know that already. I'm saying that again for the audience. Okay. So that's ha. That's what we want you to understand, that is ha. So when we look at words in the Quran like halal, and I'm going to show you about 2 or 3 other words as the weeks go forward, you're going to see how these letters and all of these meanings that I'm introducing you to factor into the meaning of the letter and the meaning of the word. Okay. All right. X letter.
This is new.
Yeah.
Kha.
Excellent. And what letter does it resemble?
Ha.
Exactly. All right. So we're going to show you how these 2 letters are related or maybe not related. What is this a picture of?
Wrestling. The other guy is breaking his elbow apart.
Seems like that. Okay. So is the guy laying down here, is he looking like he can protect himself?
No.
Okay. In ha, does this mother look like she's protecting her child?
Yes.
Okay, so now you already know that ha and ha are going to have opposite meanings. Okay, let's see what they are. Go for it.
Ha represents the arms as well, but when failing to protect. In fact, ha is using the arms to seize and detain, and a picture is worth 1,000 words.
All right, so they're seizing and detaining the garbage can. Okay, so both ha and ha represent your arms. The only difference is what the arms are doing. In the case of ha, it's protecting, embracing, consoling. In the case of ha, these arms are failing to protect, just like in the picture we saw here. His arms, he has arms, but his arms are failing to protect him from this opponent. You wanted to say something?
No.
Okay. All right. All right. So you're going to find one or the other as you look at what things are actually done with the arms. Okay.
They're holding the guy.
Yeah. And hold starts with what English letter?
H.
Mm-hmm. Now, if they're holding him in order to protect somebody from him, then the arms are also protecting, right? But at the same time, they're failing to protect him, the guilty party, the guilty person. He's not being protected. But
They're trying to protect him.
say it again.
They're not trying to protect him.
Exactly. They're trying to protect the people from him in most cases. All right. You want to try and go for another letter? Well, let's see what else ha is saying before we do. Go.
The sound of ha is like having a chicken bone stuck in your throat. All of a sudden, your breathing is interrupted. That you have a feeling of desperation and helplessness, and is ha. If you are helping to stop a wrong action, and that is good. If you are being stopped from committing a bad deed, that is also good.
Yeah. All right. So there was a very famous gangster in American history called Al Capone. And the newspaper front page here says Capone arrested on perjury charge, right? So the police were attempting to protect the citizens from Al Capone's criminal behavior and criminal activity. So they arrested him. That's ha. That's ha. That's them not allowing Al Capone to do his dirt, to do his crimes, to hurt people, to kill people, maybe, and all of those other things that come along with being a gangster. All right. So in stopping someone to do that, that's ha. In allowing someone to do good things, that's ha. Yeah, that's right. Okay. Let me see. Was that it for today? We have one more letter to go. Two more, actually. I think we can get through them in the next 10 minutes, inshallah. Go for it.
Dal. Dal.
Mm-hmm. You see a pair of choppers over there on the right.
They look the same a lot.
Say it again.
Dal and those whatever look the same. Teeth.
The teeth?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, well, let's see why.
The letter D, is the firmly rooted tooth. It represents anything which is connected to a hinge or rooted into a foundation.
Okay, so that's what the teeth and the letter DAL have in common. DAL means any one of these teeth as long as that tooth is rooted into the gums. And it means door also, because a door is connected to the wall by the hinge, right? Which is the foundation for the door. And that's,
like our knees and other stuff.
yeah, hinges, right? In all of those parts of the body that connect the bones, correct?
Yeah.
You look, yeah, you're feeling on it. That's right. Your phalanges have hinges.
Yes. Phalanges, toes,
Yeah,
tibia, fibia,
yeah, fibula bone. Yep,
vertebra,
yep. Oh,
uh,
yeah, yeah, I like it. I like that.
cranium, humerus, sternum, ribs, the vertebrae. Uh, that's almost all of them that I'm missing.
Well, that's okay. That's off the top of your head. That's cool.
Metacarpals,
Mm-hmm.
metatarsals,
Metatarsals, yeah.
carpals.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yes, I remember.
All right. So
What
here's a part of your homework. I want you to,
scap?
yeah, yep. All right. A part of your homework is to look at the skeletal structure and give me 10 different places where there are actual hinges connecting those bones.
Like, are you talking like specifically hinge joints?
They can be, yeah, I'm talking hinge joints. Where are the major joints in your body? Look it up for homework, okay?
Okay.
You got a pen and pencil there? Or pen and paper to write that down?
Second.
Okay.
So what?
10 different hinges in the body, in the skeletal structure. Not the muscle structure. That's a different system. The skeletal structure. You got it?
So what are 10 hinges in the skeletal system?
Yes. Beautiful. All right. We have one more letter to go for today. And it's the cousin of Dal.
Vel.
There you go. You can see what that means, right?
Yeah.
All right. So what's the difference between the letter Dal and the letter Dal?
One's not rooted.
Well, what's the difference in the picture?
The dot.
There you go.
So
Dal
it
has no
looks
dot.
like the teeth are falling out.
There you go. Use that imagination. I love it. All right. So Dal, read on.
The letter that represents the tooth when loosened or removed from its foundation. When a rooted tooth becomes a rotted tooth, it will fall out because it's no longer receiving the nutrients. There's that word again. That it needs to sustain its existence. That tooth has now become a distance away from you. Don't worry, kitties. Yours will grow back.
All right. Great. All right. So in Arabic, there's the word dhalika. Can you say that with the DH
ذلك
sound? Yeah. Dhalika.
ذلك.
Yeah. And even as you're pronouncing the, it's kind of the sound that you would make if your two front teeth were missing. Yeah, like
that.
daddy, you know. Right? Yeah. So dhalika means that over there. So whatever is dhalik, if it's that over there, that means it's not right here where you are. See? If it were here, you hear that H sound, you'd be able to embrace it. See? Ha, you'd be able to hold it if it were here. But because it's dhalika or there, right? Then it's a bit of a distance away from you. Just like that tooth that's no longer in your mouth connected to your gums, it also is a distance away from you. If you've been to the dentist, it's in the garbage can by now, right? So that
No, we keep ours.
if you go to the dentist, you keep yours?
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
We take them out here. We just pop them out.
Yeah, yeah.
Take them in a bag, and then we write the date, and then the
That's
name.
good. That's history. That's your personal history. That's good. That's very good. Okay. All right. So if you were pushing on a door that's missing a hinge, then the door is not going to be sturdy. It's not going to be steady. Okay. It's not going to be dependable. So that's the basic idea that dal, when something is firmly rooted, it's going to be dependable. When it is a dal and there's a hinge or two that's missing, then that door, you're taking your chances trying to go through it because it might come off the other hinge and hit you in the head. Right?
Yeah.
I'm going to give you an example in our conclusion of a very short chapter in the Quran. It's called Surah Ikhlas or Surah al-Ikhlas.
I remember that. I just don't remember the full verse.
Yeah, okay. So as I go along, if you remember it, just chime in. It says, Kul huwallahu ahad. Allahu samad.
Amen.
Lam yalid. Walam yulad. Walam yakun lahu kufuwan ahad. Now I want you to say it after me, okay? I'm going to do it line for line and you repeat the line after I give it to you, okay?
Okay.
All right. Kul huwallahu ahad.
Kul huwallahu ahad.
Allahu samad.
Allahu samad.
Lam yalid.
Lam yalid.
Very good. Walam yulad.
Walam yulad.
Walam yakun lahu.
Walam yakun lahu
Kufuwan ahad.
kufuwan ahad.
Very good. Now, we don't have time to go over what it means in English. We'll deal with that at some other time. But what did you notice? What sound did you notice at the end of every one of those verses? What letter sound?
Ahad.
Yeah. What is that letter at the end of ahad?
Da.
Which is the letter that we were just talking about.
What the? I know it. Just I don't know how to pronounce it.
You just no. You just said it. Not the last letter. The word, the letter before the last letter. The one that means door or firmly rooted.
Dal.
Yeah. Yeah. Dal is at the end of every one of those four verses. So let's say it again, and then we're going to put special emphasis on the D sound. You ready? All right. We're going to exaggerate the D. Kul huwallahu ahad.
Kul huwallahu ahad.
Allahu samad.
Allahu samad.
Lam yalid.
Lam yalid.
Walam yulad.
Walam yulad.
I didn't hear that D sound.
Walam yulad.
Stop fiddling while you're pronouncing the Quran. You good? All right. Let's do that part again. Lam yalid.
Yalid.
Okay, slow down. Lamb, like little lamb. Mary had a little lamb. Lam yalid, pardon me. Lam yalid.
Yalid.
Okay, get away from the yam. You might be hungry, right? You want some yams right now? Okay, think about Mary's little lamb, okay? Lamb,
Oh,
yeah, lamb yalid.
lam yalid.
You want to say yam so bad, don't you? That's actually an Arabic word too, you know, but we'll get to that later. So say it broken up. Lam
Lam
yalid.
yalid.
There you go. Walam
Walam
yulad.
yulid.
Walam
Walam
yakun lahu
yakun lahu
kufuwan ahad.
kufuwan ahad.
Very good. Very good. So remind me next week to explain to you how all of those D sounds represent the closing of doors on something. Okay?
Whatever this thing is, it's pretty deeply rooted.
I love it. And you're absolutely right. And next week, you're going to find out how right you actually are. That's right. Whatever the door is closing on is very deeply rooted. In fact, the name of that surah is called Al-Ikhlas, which means the purity, and it also means the unity. So whatever Allah is speaking to, whatever Allah is describing as the purity, and whatever Allah is describing as the unity, it is deep. It is deeply rooted. Unity is deeply rooted. We live in a united universe. That's what universe means. It means united verse. So you see how deep it can get? Even though it looks like all of these things are different things, all of these things in the universe are still united.
The purity of the unity.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Is there anything else you'd like to say before we close out?
No.
All right. So thank you for another fantastic session. I know your listeners can't wait to hear it. People are calling me. They call me Wednesday morning to ask me, did we have our class yet? And I have to keep telling them, no, it's not till the evening. So you'll get it at some point tonight on YouTube. Okay. But thank you. And I ask Allah to continue to bless you for sharing your mind with people in the public who you have never met. And believe me, I wouldn't continue to do that unless I knew that they were learning just like you're learning. And that's what they're telling me. So keep doing what you're doing. There are many, many blessings for you from Allah, for you sharing your time and your knowledge. But thank you for being with me once again. And I greet you in peace with Salam Alaikum.
Walaikum assalam. Thank you, Benjamin Bilal.
Thank you. Appreciate that. All right. Talk to you next week.